What's going on, guys? It's me, Dreamliner Fan 2016 here, and today we have another Roseville International Airport update for you guys, and this will be for the months of June 2024. Super excited to get into another KRVL airport update. We have just begun the summer season, and overall we're seeing some really interesting travel moments that's going to be happening for this airport. So, not going to waste further time. It's kind of the same deal as per usual. So, with that being said, let's get started with Gate Alpha 1, and then we're going to work all the way to the terminals, and then we're going to take a look at our taxiing and departing aircraft. So with that being said, let's get into, well, actually not really Gate Alpha 1 because it's an empty gate, so we're just going to get straight into Gate Alpha 2. So with that being said, let's start off with Gate Alpha 2. Alright, so let's begin here at Gate Alpha 2 with this United Airlines Boeing 737-900ER, and this aircraft is in the Evo Blue livery, and this aircraft had just arrived from Denver International Airport, and she landing here in Roseville at 9:06 a.m. Yeah, 9:06, actually p.m. So 9:06 p.m. is the arrival time for this aircraft, and not really gonna explain too much about the Denver route, but it's still going strong for United Airlines, and that's what we love to see. So once again, here's this United 737-900ER in the Evo Blue livery that came in from Denver. Been seeing a lot of these Evo Blue United 739s. I think maybe their 737-900s are being repaid to their Evo Blue livery, so it's kind of like might be happening. They might get all repaid to the Evo Blue, but I did see some Continental Globe 79, so not really technically, not all their Continental Globe plates are painted into these Evo Blue liveries, so that's that. We have Gate Alpha 3, which is an empty gate, and over here at Gate Alpha 4, excuse me for that. Alright, so anyway, so here at Gate Alpha 4, jeez, I don't know why I can't talk, but we have this United Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8, and she has just arrived from Miami International Airport, which is like one of the destinations that United MAX 8s will fly to from SFO, and she arrived here at 10:37 a.m. and currently right now she's loading the passengers for the departure flight for San Diego International Airport, and she departed out of Roseville at 1:29 p.m. So kind of like an obscure route for these United MAX 8s. I know in Sacramento they would always like at Chicago, Denver, or possibly IAH in Newark, but in San Francisco they're kind of like all over the place. Kind of like Miami, for example. There's Eugene as well. But yeah, so I decided to throw into like these kinds of routes for this MAX 8. But other than that, here she is at Gate Alpha 4. Next up, we have this United Airlines Boeing 757-300, and she had just arrived from Orlando MCO, and she landed here in Roseville at, if I can look for it, here we go, 11:16 a.m. So currently right now she is like deplaning the passengers to get to like the the baggage claim areas. So once again, she had just arrived from Orlando MCO, and this is my Gemini Jet 757 release. I think this was back in like October 2022 is when this aircraft was released. But highly likely, I would most likely get that NG United 753 in the Evo Blue livery, so I can like at least compare this, or kind of have like a diversity of like this airplane in general. So really excited to get the NG models, and hopefully I can do a model comparison between this Gemini version and the soon to come NG version. But other than that, I think this model still looks very nice by Gemini Jets. We're going to be skipping a couple gates here, as we're going to be moving on to this Delta Airlines Boeing 757-300 at Gate Alpha 8. And currently right now she had just arrived, well technically she did arrive from Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson International Airport. She landed here in Roseville at 10:28 a.m. and soon she's going to be making a returning flight to Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson, and she departed out of Roseville at 12:13 p.m. So really nice to get in this United 753. Of course, this is another wide body gate, so technically, since you don't see many Delta wide bodies that would come here to KRVL, so I decided to use the 753. Also ignore the jet bridge, that forward jet bridge that's kind of like propped into like the cockpit. It's not supposed to be like that, but hey, it is what it is. Or I don't know what like the gate agents were doing at that point, but hey, it is what it is. At least there were no damages to the aircraft, at least. But other than that, this United 753, once again, she's at Gate Alpha 8, and she just arrived from Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson. And over here at Gate Alpha 9, we have this Breeze Airways Airbus A220-300, and she had just arrived from Provo, Utah, and she landed here in Roseville at 12:16 p.m. And this is actually an aircraft swap to their existing Embraer E190s, which I think at this point, I'm not sure if Breeze Airways still operates some Embraer E190s for their scheduled routes, but I think they will be mostly using their E190s for their charter flights. So technically they still have the E190 and E195 in their fleet, but I don't think not just for commercial services. I might be wrong on that, but majority of the times they'll be using the Airbus A220 since that's like their flagship aircraft. But other than that, Breeze Airways, they're still doing like a great job on doing these services and all the service they have in SFO. And yeah, the Grand Junction route, the Grand Junction Colorado route is still new to the fleet, so that's still going strong as well. So that's what we love to see from the one and only Breeze Airways. And finally, we have a very returning sight right here for KRVL, as we now have two Air Canada planes once again at Gate Alpha 11 and Gate Alpha 12. So we're gonna get started with it's pretty cool to see once again. So love this effort, and yeah, this is just like very cool to see during the summertime in KRVL. So we're gonna get started with Gate Alpha 11 with this Air Canada Airbus A220-300. The Toronto Pearson service has returned for this month, and that's what we love to see because, like, once again, this is a seasonal service, so it's great to see the Toronto service, the seasonal service in that case, back at Roseville once again. And yeah, she just arrived here at 9:15 p.m. So really nice to see, and of course they depart the next day. But let's just say that this Air Canada A220 had just arrived from Toronto Pearson in the evening. So love to see some amazing effort right here, and overall this is just absolutely amazing right here. And over here at Gate Alpha 12, of course, we have our Air Canada Express Bamir ACRJ 900, and of course she had just arrived from Vancouver International Airport. Well, technically arrived from Vancouver, but she's going to be departing for Vancouver, the returning flight. She departed out of Roseville at 10:15 a.m. So that's quite interesting that this aircraft departed in the early morning, and I did hear news that they're going to be doing double daily service for that Vancouver route. So it's nice to see that route going so strong that they decide to do some double service for this flight. So really nice to see right there, and overall, love this amazing effort from Air Canada alongside with the Air Canada Express plane, which is of course operated by Jazz Air. So the Toronto and Vancouver service, they're absolutely going strong. They're absolutely going strong for Air Canada, and that's what we love to see for Roseville International. So yeah, that's it. I know I skipped a couple of planes, but I'm going to be saving those planes for last because I got something very special to tell you guys. So why don't we move on to like the taxiing planes and all like the departing planes, of course. Well, the arrivals and the departures from this airport, so whatever. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, once again, we're going to be moving on to those. So with that being said, let's get into those. Alright, let's begin the taxiing side of things. We're going to be starting off with our departures with this United Airlines Airbus AC-19 in the Evo Blue livery. And she's going to be making the departure flight for Redmond Municipal Airport, or KRDM, in Oregon. And she departed out of Roseville at 10:41 a.m. So really nice to feature this route. It's kind of like an obscure route that I decided to go for. I think this came from SFO. And yeah, it's a very interesting route. And then yeah, United Airlines does really like to fly to various places. And it's kind of like one of their, let's say just like a focus city they have in their routes. But other than that, once again, she had just arrived. Well, not really arrived. She just arrived a couple of hours ago, let's just say that. But she's going to be making the departure flight for KRDM, Redmond Municipal Airport, at 10:41 a.m. And she did have an on-time departure, so that's really nice. Next up, we have this United Airlines Boeing 757-200 in the Continental Globe livery, and she's going to be making the departure flight for Newark Liberty International Airport, where she departed out of Roseville at 4:36 p.m. So really nice to see that push on that Newark route for United Airlines. Once again, they would operate the MAX 8, MAX 9, 900ER, sometimes the 737-700, but this time they're going to be using the 757 for that route. And yeah, it's been a while since I featured this model in an airport update. Can't really recall when was the last time, but kind of like somewhere around late 2022 or not really 2022, like late 2023. So highly like a possibility, but other than that, I still think this model looks nice, and it's very nice in my United Airlines collection. So really glad to feature this model for that Newark route. Next on deck is this United Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 9, and we're now going into the arrival side of things, as she had just arrived from Houston IAH, and she landed in Roseville at 2:04 p.m. So kind of like around that afternoon time frame. So really nice to see United also doing the IAH route, the Houston route, George Bush Intercontinental. And yeah, nice that they use this on a MAX 9. So yeah, it's still a nice model right there, just like the 757. But I may likely try to get that Evo Blue MAX 9 from Gemini Jets they announced just a couple of months back. So I'm looking forward to hopefully get that model soon. And overall, hopefully I can feature that model in an upcoming airport update that I do. But other than that, I still think the Continental Globe MAX 9 looks very nice, and it's overall nice for my model plane collection, especially for my United Airlines collection. And our final aircraft on the taxiway is this beautiful Delta Connection Embraer E175. And she has just arrived from Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, and she landed here in Roseville around 12:10 p.m. So Really nice to feature that model on many of the regional routes that Delta Connection operates. And yeah, I'm referring to the operations from Sacramento. So this would be like the SMF to LAX route, just for the arrival. But under that, it's really nice to feature this Delta E175 and 1/4 scale. And once again, I can't really thank Gemini Jets enough. I know I've been thanking Gemini Jets a couple times, but it's just a perfect model for this airport update. Really nice to feature this aircraft on many of these Delta Airlines regional hubs, regional routes. And yeah, it's just a perfect model for my collection, especially for my Delta Airlines. So I'm really glad to have her in my collection. So that is it for all the taxiing the taxiing planes and departures and the arrivals. But we're not really quite done yet, as I do need to cover 2 more planes from Terminal A, and I do want to save these for last because it's for an upcoming trip that I'm going to be having. So, well, yeah, it's going to be for an upcoming trip, so I'm just beyond excited to talk about this in this airport update. So without being said, let's head back into, it's going to be very exciting to talk about these flights. So without being said, let's head back to Terminal A and let's go over these 2 planes. Alright, now let's go over these 2 planes, these 2 Delta airplanes at Gate Bravo 6 and Bravo 7. And man, I'm just super excited to talk about these. These are all part of like a trip that I just had, and I'm just beyond excited to like talk about this in this airport update. Well, as of this recording, as of this upload date at least. But I'm just super excited to talk about these. So without being said, let's dive into it. So starting off at Gate Alpha 6, we have this Delta Airlines Boeing 757-200. And this aircraft will be making the departure flight for Kansas City International Airport. And she departed out of Roseville at 5:59 a.m. Man, I'm super excited about this. So she's going to be going to Kansas City International Airport, Kansas City International Airport, MCI, which is where Airliners International 2024 will be held. So I'm just super excited. A lot of passengers are going to be on that route, mainly aviation enthusiasts who are going to airliners this year. And yes, I did took that flight. I've flown on my first Boeing 757 flight, and man, what an experience that was. First 757 flight on Comfort Plus. That is just absolute effort. It was from Atlanta to MCI. That was probably one of the best flights I ever, or if not the best flight I ever had this year. I can't believe I flew on my first 757 flight. So that was an absolute new experience, trying out a new airplane, and I'm just really glad to fly on my favorite narrow body airplane, the Boeing 757. And I would like to fly on one again when I go back there. Man, what a flight that was. So once again, this Delta Airlines Boeing 757-200 will be making the departure flight for Kansas City International Airport, where Airliners International 2024 will be held. She departed out of Roseville at 5:59 a.m. And over here at Gate Alpha 7, we have this Delta Airlines Boeing 737-900ER, and she's going to be making the departure flight for Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, and she departed out of Roseville at 10:59 p.m., which is another flight that I just had when going to Airliners International. That was actually my flight that I was on. I've flown on this aircraft, this Delta 739, from SMF to ATL, and yeah, what a fun flight that was as well. Really nice to try out that red-eye flight. And yeah, I think it was my first domestic red-eye flight, so that was a new experience. So yeah, these 2 flights, they were all part of my airliners trip. I already took those flights as of this as of this upload. I already flown on those flights, but as of this recording, it's tomorrow basically. Those flights are going to be held tomorrow, so I'm just super excited for that. And yeah, what a trip that was, I'll say. Flying on Delta airplanes, going to Kansas City. So absolute effort, and we love to see it. So I'm just super excited. Well, I'm already at Airliners right now as of this upload, so yeah, I think it will be coming out around Thursday, Wednesday, or like Friday or so. But other than that, really nice to feature this planes, and what a way to represent it for my trip to Airliners International 2024 in Kansas City. So that's it for this month's airport update, so I'm not going to waste further time, and we're just going to jump into like the conclusion itself. So without being said, let's get into the conclusion of today's video. Alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's airport update, or this month's airport update. Another fantastic airport update to kick off the summer season, and yeah, really nice effort to see all these planes right here. So as you can see, all my Deltas and Uniteds, as well as this Breeze Airways right there. And it's really nice to see the Air Canada A220 back. So we now have all 2 Air Canada planes at Gate Alpha 11 and Gate Alpha 12 right there. So that's what I love to see. My 2 Airliners International flights right there, that's going to be one heck of a flight right there, I'll say. Once again, I already took those flights already as of this upload date, so all I can really say, those flights were absolutely awesome. So really nice right there. So yeah, pretty much like don't really need to go into much about this year's or this month's airport update. But other than that, it's just another good airport update, and I can't wait for July and August. Kind of like a little bit on what, like, I know it's yeah. What am I saying? Sorry, I kind of was thinking of something else, but I think what I meant to, like, probably some other things. But what I meant to say is, like, I know this video was kind of short, and I think I was on like a time crunch because I really got like still pack my things for Airliners International. So yeah, I do want to make this video as quick as possible and try to get this done by today. And hopefully I can have some time uploading it so I can get that into the video, so into YouTube basically. But other than that, do want to like do a couple more things, and yeah, I do want to say a couple of things. So if you guys may notice that the audio is different, well, that's because I have a new microphone. This is actually a like wireless microphone, so it's a wireless microphone that I have, and I'm really glad to use that. It's very helpful, so I don't have to like use a wire thing, like plug my phone where there's a wire. And other than that, it's proven helpful for me, and I can't wait to use that microphone in many of my future videos. So really excited for that. And yeah, as for this month, super exciting summer ahead. We got a couple of things, a couple of fun things to do, and overall just super excited to do fun things during the summer season. So I'm just beyond excited for that. So yeah, other than that, this month's airport update still going strong for KRVL, and what a way to kick it off to start off the summer season of air travel. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on that post notification bell so you won't miss a video like this anytime soon. And why not just like end it off with all my two 757s right there? Well, two Delta Airlines planes right there. So yeah, and if you haven't seen my my Roseville if you haven't seen my Roseville International Airport updates, then you can click on that playlist and you can check out all my KRVL airport updates from this update to the start of the airport updates, my first one to now. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Anyways, good night.